The launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 is nearly upon us, and we've got a really exciting launch lineup. We've got a good mixture of first-party titles, Nintendo Switch 2 additions and upgrades, plus also some fantastic third-party titles too. Well, today I want to cover my top 10 most anticipated launch games for Nintendo Switch 2. Well, if you enjoyed the video or find it useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for even more Nintendo content here on Power Up Direct. Well, all of these following games are available on launch day, that is the 5th of June 2025, so without further delay, let's dive into the game. So, first of all, we have the Welcome Tour, and this one is a quirky game where you walk around inside of the Nintendo Switch 2, and you get information related to the Switch 2 features. One way of demonstrating the resolution, for example, on the Switch 2 includes looking at an original Super Mario Bros. Level and stretching out to fit the new Switch 2 screen. So the whole game is similar in point of view to an ARPG or Diablo or Hades or something like that, and you can walk around with a little character and inspect various features of the Switch 2 hardware. Nintendo's decision to charge for this game though, rather than include it as a pack-in, seems quite strange. However, I still think it's going to be a fun little title, and I can't wait to dive into the Welcome Tour. Next up we've got Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the Switch 2 edition. So both Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are getting Switch 2 editions. Now I've put Tears of the Kingdom lower down in my anticipated list, given I played that one more recently compared to Breath of the Wild. Both of the games are getting optimised visuals for the new hardware, and they're going to be optimised for high-res TVs too, and HDR support, so it's really, really exciting. Finally, we're going to get to see these games in all of their glory. In addition to the performance upgrades, we're also getting new features via Zelda Notes, and that offers map navigation and additional lore. However, this is all going to be provided through a companion mobile app. So it definitely would be better if Zelda Notes features were in-game, but maybe we're going to see those later on in the next mainline Zelda game. So if you already own Tears of the Kingdom and Nintendo Switch Online plus the expansion pack, then you're going to get this upgrade for no additional cost. Well, next up we've got Split Fiction. So this one is our first third-party game on the list. This is the latest game from Hazelight Studios, creators of It Takes Two. So in Split Fiction, we take on the role of two writers, one science fiction and one fantasy, and in classic Hazelight fashion, we play in co-op with another person via the split screen. This one is a fantastic game, and if you haven't played one of Hazelight's games before, definitely recommend playing it with friends or family. Next up we've got Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. So Cyberpunk originally released in a technical mess. That led to PlayStation pulling the game from the PlayStation Store. CD Projekt Red have stayed dedicated to the game though, and have developed it since the launch, and now we have an absolutely world-class game. It's one of the best RPGs out there on any console or on PC. So while the game has been out for a few years now, Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the best games of the last decade, and also the development team, they are taking advantage of the motion controls on Nintendo Switch 2. Well, next up we've got Final Fantasy VII Remake. So Final Fantasy used to be a mainstay on Nintendo consoles back in the day, with the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Super Nintendo, but Final Fantasy hasn't featured recently on Nintendo consoles as prominently as new titles, but that all changes with the Switch 2 and Final Fantasy VII Remake arriving on the Switch 2 for launch day. If you haven't played this one, really, really exciting stuff. It's a really, really good game. The battle mechanics are excellent, the graphics are really, really good. So if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake, definitely recommend jumping into this one on launch day on Nintendo Switch 2. Next up we've got Soul Calibur. So Soul Calibur is one of the games being featured on the GameCube Classics via Nintendo Switch Online. This one is a fighting game, plus it includes Link from The Legend of Zelda as a special guest character. If you're old enough to remember GameCube games, then this one is going to be a trip down memory lane. But if you haven't experienced this game before and you like fighting games, then it's well worth jumping in to play Soul Calibur. GameCube Classics are going to be exclusive to Switch 2, plus you can also get a GameCube controller to play the games. Well, next up we've got F-Zero X. So F-Zero X is another GameCube game for the launch of the GameCube Classics. This is one of the best F-Zero games, even though the Super Nintendo version of the game still holds a unique place in my heart as probably the best F-Zero game out there. But this one is a fast racing game and offers up a different flavour of racing if you want to take a little break from Mario Kart World. Well, next up we got Wind Waker, so finally we get to play Wind Waker on the Nintendo Switch platform. However, we've got a couple of caveats here. It's only available on Switch 2 via the GameCube Classics, and it is not Wind Waker HD. It's the original GameCube version before the game was optimised for the Wii U. Personally, I don't really mind too much. I do like the look of the original GameCube version, and as a huge Zelda fan, I'm really glad we're getting closer to the whole Zelda back catalogue being on the Nintendo Switch platform. You can just imagine Twilight Princess won't be too far away. Next up we've got Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 Edition. So Breath of the Wild is also getting an update to address higher resolution, improved frame rates and HDR support. I'm definitely more excited about Breath of the Wild compared to Tears of the Kingdom. While it's going to be strange going back to Hyrule without Ultra Hand and Fuse, it's going to be really good battling those Guardians again and also using the Sheikah powers. I can't wait to jump back into Hyrule. And again, if you already own this game and Nintendo Switch Online plus the expansion pack, then you're going to get the update for Breath of the Wild at no additional cost. Well, finally, my most anticipated game for the Nintendo Switch 2 launch is Mario Kart World. This one is the big one for launch day and the flagpole Nintendo are placing into the ground. This is a brand new Mario Kart game following on from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch. Deluxe sold 67 million copies worldwide. That is absolutely incredible. And Mario Kart World introduces the open world to Mario Kart. So we've got a traditional Grand Prix mode, plus also the new Knockout mode, which seems like it's going to be a whole load of fun. Players race around and the slowest players get knocked out over time. It's kind of similar to a Battle Royale, but in kart racing form. There's also a free roam mode where players can explore Mario Kart World and take photos, and also discover secrets too. And I bet that Nintendo have hidden loads of secrets all over Mario Kart World, and personally I cannot wait to discover them. So those are my most anticipated games for the Nintendo Switch 2 launch, but here are some games that are available a little bit later on inside the launch window. So first of all, on July the 17th, we've got Donkey Kong Bonanza. This one looks really, really good. Can't wait to jump back into a 3D Donkey Kong title. Next up, we've got Mario Party Jamboree plus the Jamboree TV, and that is a Switch 2 edition of the Mario Party Jamboree, but also we've got downloadable content here with Jamboree TV, and that works with the camera for the Nintendo Switch 2, and that is coming out on July the 24th. Then we've got Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus the Star-Crossed World. That is like DLC content. And we've also got improved visuals and fidelity there as well. That one is coming out on August the 28th, 2025. Then we've got some games with no release date just yet. We've got Pokemon ZA, Switch 2 edition. That is a release date still to be announced. And then Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. That is very, very exciting. Can't wait for this one. I would imagine both of these games are going to come out towards the back end of 2025, maybe in fall or in winter. But we're just going to have to wait and see what Nintendo says. But there's some really good games there. Donkey Kong Bonanza, and also the upgrades for Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Really, really good inside that launch window. So really looking forward to all of these games. So it's going to be a really exciting launch for Nintendo Switch 2. So let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know what you're excited for about the launch of the Switch 2. But that is it today for this video, looking at the 10 most anticipated games launching for Nintendo Switch 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for even more Nintendo content here on Power Up Direct. Well, thanks again. I'll see you real soon.